Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode 57 of the Seezus Show. Back at it. It's going to be another great episode. I'm very excited. It's been a week, right, since you've been here? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks. So last time Trey was up here was episode 55. And what were we talking about?
We were talking about Kawhi and PG. It just teamed up. We were talking about the best duos in the league.
Best duos. We were talking about a lot of things.
A lot of good stuff.
A lot of good things. And it's just crazy how, we're still hearing news stories unfold day by day. So this is one of the first times in a long time that we always have content to talk about. So shout out to the NBA and its growing popularity as a brand year round globally. It's great. So got to do what we got to do. So obviously you already spoke. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back my co-host, Tre.
You already know what's going on. I've been up for 4 days, getting money both ways, dirty and clean. I can use the glass of cold space.
You heard that? He can use a glass of cold space, man. So, episode 56, I had one of my boys, Drew, up here, and, chopped it up for a little bit, and it was a good episode. So I'm sorry that I couldn't deliver that video to you. I had a little bit of technical difficulties, but moving forward, everything should be a smooth sailing. So you got to learn from experience. Experience is the best teacher. But let's get into it, man. So just yesterday, actually, on Wednesday, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George finally had their player introduction of joining the Clippers organization. It was dope. I watched the full press conference, so I got to hear from not only Paul George, I got to hear from Kawhi Leonard, also the owner, and also Doc Rivers. So they seem very excited. They're saying that it's more so of a movement that's happening on the Clippers. So it's pretty interesting to see some notable things. Was when Kawhi got introduced, he made jokes about how he took advantage of the Kawhi and dine. So he schemed on that, gave some thanks to the organization and the Toronto Raptors, thanked their fans as well, too. Did what he had to do, delivered that championship. And then, he just talked about how he's excited for his new journey. And I know a lot of people were talking about how, there's been reports saying how, the Lakers felt betrayed and whatnot, but he kind of debunked all that, and he was saying he was very, very close to signing with the Lakers, but obviously,
could you imagine?
Yeah, can I imagine?
Could you imagine
that
would have
been
the Lakers?
That would have been unfair, and I'm at least for right now, I'm tired of the super team.
I think it's gonna be a fun league next year.
Yeah, it's gonna be very fun. You can literally tune into almost every team and not be bored.
Are the Lakers stacked? Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So he just talked about, it was essentially between the Lakers and between the Clippers, and he ultimately, chose to team up with Paul George. Once the Clippers said they can get him, he was like, all right, it's a done deal. And I like it. Like you said, if he went to the Lakers, that would have been OD. But at the same time, I like how he created or helped facilitate parity in the NBA. So that's always a great thing. So Doc Rivers described the Clippers as a blacktop team. So when he said blacktop team, he said they have toughness and grit. Yeah. And, when you get rid of Alexander and you get rid of Gallinari and draft picks and you get in return Kawhi and Paul George, is going to be crazy. And I've already harped on this last couple episodes of the podcast. These two are going to be literally the modern day MJ and Pippen, just running stuff. They got a championship coach. They have an owner that wants to spend a lot of money, a great front office from the top down, good players to go along with them, role players, reigning six man. Like I said, blacktop team, so I think they're going to be good to go. And it's crazy because, Trey, they had their little introduction, and Paul George was saying how he was nervous. So basically, he got drafted. I think he got drafted a year before Kawhi. Yeah. And either the year before, same year. I think it was the year before. And then Kawhi basically was the 11th pick or whatever from the Pacers. So he's like, damn, I was the two-way guard that got drafted, and the Pacers going to draft another guard. So it's like, damn, I'm a little nervous. I got to fight for my spot. What's going on? I know of this guy. We grew up around the same area, competed against each other since a young age in college, all that stuff. So it was like, I got to bring my A game together. So he's talking about that, and he realized they acquired George Hill, and eventually went on to San Antonio. But it's pretty cool. It was kind of felt like it was destined to be.
A narrative.
And
Just
what's
waiting
crazy is, as a Spurs fan, Kawhi opened up and he said that when he found out that essentially Paul George was not as happy in Indiana, he was basically planning to force his way out. So he actually went to front office and he asked the front office for San Antonio, RC Buford, and all them. He was like, "Yo, like let's try to get Paul George."
Could you imagine? Could you imagine Kawhi like asking for a quote PG like in a meeting, like or like even just like, all right, you guys, like we're gonna wrap up. Here's the Spurs meeting, and it's like on the door, like just y'all hear something?
Right.
Nah, keep the meeting going. Kawhi peeks his head in. Can we get PG? And now everybody was like, "What's up, Kawhi? What you want, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get PG?"
Yeah, if he would have got PG, I think he would have stayed in San Antonio at that point. But then again, they could have both plotted to go to LA regardless. But
that wasn't even the makeup of the team though, and I don't.
they didn't.
I'm not saying Greg Popovich wouldn't have did it. Wouldn't have been like, "Yo, let's go get it." But it just that never seemed like a Spurs thing to do, to go like and just get another big free agent. But at the same time, Kawhi wasn't as colossal as he is now.
Mm-hmm.
He was still playing around Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, and Manu Ginobili, who ran that team. So they could have lobbied for PG, but the thing is, their lobbying piece would have probably been Kawhi and some assets.
Yeah. Then just building off of that, Kawhi essentially said that, at the end of the day, OKC had the better assets. They had the draft picks. They gave away Oladipo and Sabonis as well too. So wasn't really nothing you can do about that. But I'm excited, man. It's going to be a battle in LA, and another thing they talked about as well too was that basically it's like, how do you get over like the Lakers being, the team to be reckoned with in LA, because you got the Lakers, you got the Clippers, and they're like, Kawhi was like, I mean, I don't really care about that for real. It's just about winning. And he said, if you look at the last couple of years, like essentially like when Kobe went down, who's been the most relevant in wins? It's been the Clippers. Now, obviously, you're not going to get over being the most popular team.
Yeah.
Records speak for itself. Where they got 15, 16 championships. You're not going to beat that. But I feel like now we're prisoners of the moment.
It's sad they play in the same spot.
Yeah, no home court advantage. That's good. They play each other in the playoffs, and
that's what
7 games.
That's the narrative you want.
All in LA.
That's the narrative you
want.
Until Seth and D'Angelo Russell.
You're you're funny. We don't know. Clay come back. Anything can happen.
I don't know if Clay's coming back that strong,
but yeah, I'm saying we're prisoners of the moment. So I just feel like it's like you said a few episodes ago. What have you done for me lately? So I feel like with this generation, at least for millennials as well too, no one really is going to remember the Lakers championship. They're going to see what happened now moving forward. Now the old heads are going to remember, we going to remember and all that, but I feel like that really doesn't matter. So can they win over LA? I think if they string along 2-3 championships, I think we'll start to see non-Clipper fans bandwagon transition over there. So only time will tell. Anything you want to add to, Kawhi and PG getting introduced or expectation? Anything you want to add to it?
I think just the whole idea, just again that the NBA is still relevant, and this is football season as far as NBA goes. Like, I mean, as far as like the whole like ESPN like cycle goes, and the NBA is still relevant. That speaks a lot to the brand, a lot to the popularity, a lot to the players. And who's the most colossal player right now? I mean, we'll talk about that poll that the coaches just. But right now it's Kawhi. Kawhi seems, again, I've always called Kawhi in the podcast, like he's like the knight. He's like the superhero. He comes in. He kind of, in a way, does it the right way. And this is the first time he's actually had to team up, per se, with somebody. But, I mean, if you look at it, people always have really good pieces around them. I mean, with the Spurs, he had Tim, Manu, Tony, and a plethora of other guys. I guess Toronto was his least star-studded surrounding area, but it's just him and PG are going to be fun to watch. It's going to make the whole grit for LA even crazier because you got grit versus celebrity in a way. You know, you got the bottom
Blue collar
versus the Beverly Hills. Not calling the Lakers, you know, Beverly Hills prima donnas because they got hoopers, but that's what it looks like, you know. So it's just like unknown versus the crown, and we're gonna see what happens. So great narratives that the NBA has to run with. It's gonna be a fun season just for the duos and for Kawhi Leonard, the most watched player that doesn't want to be watched, just wants to win, and he's been doing it. So if he can do it again this year, it's just gonna add to his legacy and, you know, cement himself in this era of basketball, this time in the league, and he'll build his statue if he can win this year. I think.
Yeah, because if he already won in San Antonio, then he literally took a year off, and then he in his first season under a new system, new coach, more creative freedom, won a championship there. If he goes, well, he's already on the Clippers. If he wins a championship there this year, do you put him in that upper echelon with LeBron and Michael Jordan, or he still has to give you that body of work? Because I feel like that's another thing that's missing from people as well, too. He hasn't done it at a high level for X amount of years.
Okay, so the consistency thing.
Because we see it, but I feel like with most players or analysts or whatever, their biggest thing is you have to do this year by year by year.
Yeah, I think you put him at the door at least. But two.
Because there'll be no other players ever done that.
Yeah, facts. Two, though, he has the better setup this year. Like, he has the coach that's won a championship before. Mm-hmm. He has Paul George, an all-star. He has the team around him that is more proven than anything that they could probably get it done than he had Pop's top 3, 4, 5
MJ
coaches.
had Pippen.
Yeah.
I mean, MJ had what's his name? Phil
Jackson.
We had Phil Jackson.
He's top tier. Mm-hmm. But as far as like this stage of his career, making a choice, he made a smart choice. Like, he's like, all right, I had the rookie coach, maybe like some variables. Maybe Pascal Siakam could go crazy this year.
He's going to go crazy. I talked about my last podcast. I said he's going to probably average 22 to 25 this upcoming season. But anyways, keep going.
but yeah, so like it was the right choice as far as the experience that he's going to have around him. So I think he set himself up. He put himself on the launching pad, and it's just for him to take off now. I mean, and it's tough saying this. I feel like we're not saying that he hasn't already taken off. He's did the groundwork. It's just like as far as legendary goes, we're just like, do it again. All right, do it again. Like, we have to see it to believe it, and it's sad, but at the same time, like, for me, you put him at the doorsteps, if not with a foot in, if he can get it done this year.
Yeah. Hollywood. This man been in Hollywood. He went to Nickelodeon with his girl and his daughter. He tried to walk by paparazzi. They were begging him to take a picture. He looked so mad when he took a picture. He went to the Pacquiao fight the other day. He been living his life, man.
Yes.
I feel like he's gonna slow. He's still gonna be himself, but I feel like he's coming out of his little box a little bit, getting exposed to LA. So that's always good to go. So we'll see what happens with the Clippers. Next thing I want to talk about is these execs, coaches, and scouts. So there were execs, coaches, and scouts. 20 of them in total had their annual little player poll to see who's the best player in the NBA. And there was 20 votes. 12 went to Kawhi, 6 went to Giannis, and 2 went to Harden. And what's the biggest thing is that we still forget that there's a number 23 in a LeBron James who's in LA. And I was like, yo, you can't get one vote?
Blasphemous. That's blasphemous.
That's blasphemous. One, I'm just like, who are these 20 people that voted? Are they part of Clippers organization, Cleveland organization?
They were all skipped.
And like I told you, it was execs, coach, and scouts. Were like 18 of them scouts, and there was
Skip
one
Bayless, all Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, who are these people voting? Because everyone in their right mind knows that LeBron James, this was his first injury miss. Obviously, he's going up there with age, but this is the first injury miss. He still averaged 27, 7, and 7. Played with a young core. Magic Johnson literally didn't surround shooters around this guy, and they had Luke Walton as their coach. So you can't really fault him for that. At the same time, I mean, he was in the West. You know, he was in the West, so that was tough. So not to not get one vote,
that's pretty sick.
That was pretty sick, and I think he should at least got at least 2 to 4 because I feel like with this list right here, obviously Kawhi has 12. I feel like he has 12. So I feel like they went from what have you done in the postseason? Like I said, we are prisoners of the moment. But in that case, if Harden gets 2, you might. I would give Steph 1 at least at that point.
Harden can't have any.
Yeah,
you know,
like Steph went stupid against them and stupid against Portland, and he played pretty damn good for real in the finals. So I'm like, yo, why didn't you give Steph 1 or even KD? Is it because KD injured too? Maybe that's why.
What the hell? This is just the stuff they do for fun. Like, what is this? What is this? Like, what are you doing? Nah, dog. So they should have thrown this out right when they saw like LeBron didn't get any votes, KD didn't get any votes. Are y'all okay?
No, they're
like,
sick.
You okay? Nah, they're
yeah. So to all those 20 execs, scouts, and GMs, you guys are stupid.
Sick.
And this is just motivating LeBron James because this is the most time he's taken out of his career since not making the playoffs as a rookie, I think.
Ever.
So it's about to be real, real crazy. I think he's going to be extremely motivated. And I feel like this is kind of like equivalent to Jordan taking off a year. Like the amount of time that LeBron's taking off is kind of like his Jordan moment where he gets time to break and he might just go stupid. So you guys are idiots. I don't even know why I gave my 2 cents about that.
He's 260, 6'8", bro. Come on, oh my God.
Got AD, got Danny Green, got Rajon Rondo, got DeMarcus Cousins, got some great coaches, got Avery Bradley. The list goes on and on. So and it's a dynamic duo era, no more super teams. So no excuses, LeBron.
Rondo's
you don't have to prove yourself. Just go out there, play ball. Kuzma there too. You good, man. What I want to talk about next is this whole NBA tampering that's been going out and about. So the NBA will reportedly open an investigation in the 2019 free agency period based on the observation that roughly a zillion players changed teams this summer despite only Kawhi Leonard taking any meetings or doing any deliberating before making a move. So the feeling seems to be that teams, players, and agents are not respecting the league calendar and turn the official opening of 2019 free agency into a mere formality, according to a report from Zach Lowe and Brian Windhorst. Concerns from owners have prompted the league to look into the matter. With the NBA, it will reportedly open, like I said, investigation on all that. And basically, like, you know, these small market teams are getting upset. That's basically what it's coming down to.
Yeah.
So I was looking at something, I believe, as far as I think a stat. I can't really see it there, but I think this was the year that most teams have switched. And I think this year they pushed up the free agency like a couple days earlier, a few hours earlier as well too. And basically, like, even though they couldn't officially sign, they were still like making deals happen. Like we saw DeAndre Jordan go to the Nets. KD announced already Kyrie prematurely. So they're like, yo, like what is going on right now? So they're getting really upset about that. My thing is like I said, these big market teams, I mean small market teams are the ones who are, you know, being upset. But at the same time, I harp on this every single episode. You know I do this. Small market teams is just always going to be hard for them to attract a free agent. 1, it's your location. 2, it's your location. 3, it's your location, man. No one wants to live in Milwaukee unless you get drafted there. Like, you're only going to build and grow from your draft and then from trading. It's really, really hard to get someone to commit to you guys for the long haul. That shit is just tough.
Yeah.
They're conducting it right now. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna say, "Oh, give me all of your technology. Like, let me go through your phones, your personal property." No, this isn't NCAA. These are grown ass men
with a lot of money.
With a lot of money, we know that players be talking and chatting and whatnot. Just let it be. You know what I'm saying? Life isn't always fair. You know, find a way to be competitive. You know what I'm saying? Look at the Spurs model of success. Look what the Bucks are doing right now. You know what I'm saying? Find your way. Look what OKC did for X amount of years. Find your way to be competitive, man. But how do you feel about this whole tampering thing that's going on? Do you think it should be conducted? Obviously, it is being conducted right now, but give me a spill on that.
I just think the tampering thing is stupid. You have to, if you're the NBA, you have to address the problem in a different way. you have to figure it out. I mean, you have millionaires that want to spend time where millionaires will spend time. It's not like I'm gonna get $1 million and be like, all right, I'm gonna go to Nebraska and I'm gonna just cool out, dog. You know what I'm saying? I think the highest paid person in Nebraska is probably the Nebraska football coach. Or like the governor, something like that. But it's hard to convince people that can make their own decisions who are the top athletes in the world. I'm not saying like just a regular NBA player. I'm saying LeBrons, the Kawhis. They're going to name brand markets and they're gonna go whether you like it or not. And if I know my boy's about to be at the party, why not call him up? We go together. Yeah. I'm about to be in LA. You coming through with me? We got some money. Let's go do it. Yeah. But we're out of our last agreement. We're out of our draft contract, our rookie contract, or whatever like that. Maybe you have to restructure it a little bit. I don't know how you restructure it. We talked about even the playoffs where they would just go take the top 10 teams or whatever like that.
Oh, the top 16 teams.
Top 16 teams and go at it like that. The biggest thing for that would be the transportation. It's not a conference thing anymore. You'd be flying
if
people.
You're Portland and you playing like Boston.
Or Miami for that matter.
Especially with back-to-back games.
Yeah.
After the 2-2 format.
you're killing people and you're killing your pockets probably. And as far from a network standpoint, the numbers probably don't add up. So you have to sit down with your businessmen, with your branding, with your marketing. You have to figure out how to make it an efficient thing to do. If you're gonna make that change, but don't spend money looking into tampering because people are gonna go where they want to go regardless. Definitely the big money, and then the small markets already know we have to build through the draft. The Denver Nuggets are building through the draft. That's not even the smallest market. The Spurs have always built through overseas drafting and trading and coaching. What's another small market team? Milwaukee got a diamond in the rough and Giannis.
Indiana Pacers.
The Pacers get no TV playtime. They get no TV playtime, but they did a damn good job because of the players they've acquired, because of smart GM. I think the GMs and the management in small market teams get overlooked all the time because you have to be damn good to even survive, to even get some TV playtime, to even hold a superstar for a while. You might have one, but if you can get a core guys and you can put together some wins, like a Milwaukee, you're doing a really good job. So NBA, you have to look at that. You have to stay ahead of the curveball. I'm not saying I have the answers, but for people that are looking at the tampering, why not put your money elsewhere? Yeah, that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I like it. Next, which kind of ties into this a little bit, Steve Kerr had some comments to share with Anthony Davis. So Kerr's comments were aimed more at Davis, forcing his way off of the Pelicans rather than the consolidation of power, teaming up with LeBron James. So he said, and I quote, "My only issue is when a player who is under contract decides not to honor a contract," Kerr said. "That's a problem. That's something that can really affect the league. You sign contracts, you play them, and you move on. That's how it should be done. But it's a little disturbing that there has been some action that's happened before contracts are up where teams are sort of held hostage and the league is sort of held hostage. I'm not a big fan of that. I think that's damaging for everybody." And then Kerr also mentioned signing with LeBron James, and last offseason, and Kevin Durant's move to Golden State and Brooklyn as examples of how stars should go about changing teams. Kerr believes, and I quote again, "When you sign on the dotted line, you owe your effort and you owe your play to that team, to that city, to the fans. And then it's completely your right to leave as a free agent. But if you sign the contract, then you should be bound to that contract." I agree and disagree with Steve Kerr, first and foremost. I agree with him because that kind of does take away from, fans or owners, because you're investing, your time, energy, and effort into, a specific player or X amount of players. You expect them to fulfill that contract. But at the same time, you going into our normal day life at 9 to 5, yeah, we essentially have a contract. We get our, our yearly salary and whatnot. But at the same time, if you're unhappy in an environment, then it's within your right to go out there and look to see what other job opportunities arise. You know what I'm saying? Every man is free. So why not have a say in your future and your future opportunities as well too? So F that.
Yeah.
Another thing with Steve Kerr is like he says unfair to the league. Like y'all weren't prematurely talking to Kevin Durant before
Facts.
while he was on OKC. You know what I'm saying? While he was on OKC trying to get him to come to the Warriors. They have evidence. Even Draymond said it right after the season was over. Who'd he call?
KD.
He called KD. He said, "We need you, bro. Like, what are you talking about? You made the landscapes completely uneven for a 3-year stint. Like, it was pretty much predetermined, barring any injury. And I still think till this time around, if no one was injured on that Warriors team, and Boogie never messed up his quad against the Clippers in the first round, the Warriors would have beat the Raptors. Not easily, but they would have got them out the way in like 6 games, for real.
Yeah.
So don't come at me. Don't even talk about that right there. You just sound salty that you lost KD, Andre Iguodala's gone, Livingston's gone, and the playing field is at it's at even, and you guys are gonna take a step back.
that Andre Iguodala stuff. Yeah. We know why y'all traded Andre.
Yeah, we know. I just finished the 6 man. Great
we
book.
Know.
You guys go check it out. I love it. But yeah, that's complete BS. And Kendrick Perkins argued about that today too. I had to agree with him, but I'm like, yo, like it is what it is. Like players. And another thing too, I'm sorry I'm going a little off topic, not really.
No, you straight, man. Go ahead.
I'm mad too. It's like,
he mad.
Why is he salty? Why are owners salty? They act like when they feel like a player isn't valuable to them, they trade them away.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They trade them away.
Double-edged sword.
They don't go over things with you a lot of the times. They just say some players find out from their family, friends, from social media,
mid-game,
from someone who's low level in the organization, like a janitor. Oh, you heard about this and this and that. Like, what? You got to get traded. You got to find a new place to stay. You got to find where your family gonna go. You got to figure out all your all your assets and whatnot. You got to figure out so many things in such a short period of time. So players, they don't owe shit to these owners, these organizations. Yes, you should honor that contract, but at the same time, it is what it is. It's player empowerment. It's 2019. These players are gonna do what they're gonna do, and they act like it's all these players. It's some of these star players. It's been notable. Kawhi Leonard's done that. PG's done that. Who else has done that? And Anthony Davis. Other than that, Jimmy Butler kind of did that as well too. But everything was justified. And with these small market teams, like we said earlier, find a way to keep your team competitive, keep your team relevant. Anthony Davis gave you 7 years of his life, and y'all couldn't build around only but 1 year and only twice going to the playoffs. Like, come on, that's shame on you guys. Yeah. That's a shame on you guys.
You have the money for it.
Exactly.
Like, you can't get one. Just one, like, all right, let's try this for 2 years. Mm-hmm. You guys can go. I mean, if that's the case, you got to be smart about it. It's like, all right, well, I know we're going to get a superstar here. Mm-hmm. You got Zion Williamson, hopefully, for at least 3 or 4 years. So, let's surround him with another guy that's going to help get to the ship. Mm-hmm. You had AD. Like, why not? Why couldn't you get him? Stupidity doesn't do anything. That doesn't make me pity you. So why am I going to be upset? I don't care. And then Steve Kerr, dog, like, when he has an opinion, like, for real. Granted, it was on a podcast, so you on a podcast, you talk your shit, you get your views, whatever like that, whatever he was doing it for. But Steve Kerr always has an opinion about something. And maybe because he's winning, maybe because they ask him, maybe that's why he feels like he can say these things. I think his opinion is his opinion. Also, I think Steve Kerr is smoking that good stuff. Smoking that good stuff.
Nick Young stated that he rolls the best blunts.
I think he's smoking that good stuff. So I think Steve Kerr there's a mind saying whatever he wants to say when he wants to say it, and it's probably how he feels. But at the same time, like, bro, if these cats want to go get up and leave and go, and they organization don't know no good, mm-hmm. Don't you know, let them do what they got to do, because you guys on the other end of it are doing the same thing. The management, coaches, all the way down. And at some point, like, it has to be a sort of checks and balances. What we're seeing is people getting more checks and balances. You can't be mad because somebody has a check and a balance just like you do in your current spot. And you can't criticize somebody that's, he just checked him because he left and walked out on his contract. Well, they could have traded him. They could have traded him to, just some no name brand.
Across the country to Canada.
So, they could have taken him to Canada. You could have been playing for the Ontario whatevers, and nobody would have said anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you can't get mad at that just because somebody has the same kind of power you do in a different way. Who cares? But I respect Steve Kerr's opinion. I just think he makes for good media anytime he says anything, and he's getting paid for it. That's good.
Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? And it's not all bad. It's not like, at least they're having a common courtesy. So let's say, for example, I'll give you two scenarios right here. So one, you have Kevin Durant. Obviously, he was in OKC. We kind of had this feeling that he may leave.
Yeah.
But essentially, would you rather a player leave you high and dry, you get nothing in return for him, or would you have a player like a Paul George, like a Chris Paul with a sign trade, like a Jimmy Butler, like a Kawhi Leonard, who tells you that they're not, happy in your organization, and then you can still somewhat not lose anything and get draft picks and, a pretty, top tier player for them. You know what I'm saying? You're getting something in return.
Oh, it's like, oh, what's up, boo? Whatever like that. Hey, I'm going to leave you. It's like your shawty's like, I'm going to leave you. And you about to propose to her or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm about to leave you. And you like, what? Are you serious? Like, I'm leaving you. Mm-hmm. Bye. Then it's like, hey, like, this isn't really like, this isn't, I'm not feeling this vibe. It's not what I want to do. You should maybe text your other girls. You should text some girls, because in about a week, we're not going to be talking like this no more. Mm. At least she gave you time to re-up on your shawties, dog. Mm. Get the draft picks back together. Get the summer league team. Get your roster right. She ain't leave you high and dry. She ain't leave you high and dry. All right. So I understand exactly what you're saying. Mm. These players have given their team the conversations like, yo, I'm not happy. I want out. Go ahead and get the best we can for this. Mm. It's not like, yo, you come in tomorrow and it's like the Baltimore Colts. They come to the stadium and everything gone, and now they're in Minneapolis. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that's my 2 cents on it. I agree that it's good for the players to be like, yo, I'm not happy, so you might want to get some draft picks from me. Peace.
So more of the story is breakups happen in life, with a significant other.
Yes.
So things happen. At the end of the day, I'd rather you just be straight up and tell me than to just leave me high and dry. And at least these players are being upfront with you instead of leaving you high and dry.
Keep your roster strong.
At the end of the day, keep your roster strong and deal with it. That's how life goes.
Bench players are important, man. Dirty work. Dirty work.
Next topic. Zion Williamson. So everyone's been wondering, where is Zion going to sign to? Where is Zion going to sign to? He's in college. He's playing in a game against UNC. Within the first 30 seconds, he messes up his knee. His shoe just comes completely off, goes crazy. He's with Nike. So been so many, different suitors who wanted to, work with him, level up with him, invest in him with their shoe deal. And he ended up signing with Jordan. So he took actually.
Wait a minute. So his shoe playing at UNC bursted open.
Yeah.
UNC, where Michael Jordan played, where Zion was playing in Nikes, and now Zion's with Jordan.
And he's from Duke.
Wow, Michael.
He did it.
Wow, you're a winner. Michael Jordan's a winner, dog.
I feel like he had that woohoo factor. But
he put something on the court. He sabotaged the shoe.
Maybe he did. It's a big.
I'm sorry for cutting you off.
It's good. It's a big conspiracy. But yeah, so Zion took less money to be a part of the Jordan brand, which is crazy. And apparently, this past Tuesday, William announced that he was signed with the Jordan brand, and the deal will be reported to be will be 7 years and be worth $75 million. And this will be the second biggest shoe deal ever for a rookie, behind only LeBron James. So, I don't really look at Jordan shoes like that unless it's his signature shoes. I know Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Kawhi was under him as well too. So I don't really be liking the aesthetic looks of his shoes
because they can't be Jordans. Because people are so hooked on the actual number Jordan stuff that it's
it's just a brand name at this point. Yeah. It's just like if you have Captain Crunch and then you have some off-brand
Crunchos.
Crunchos.
You know what I'm saying?
That was good.
Yeah,
You got
Crunchos.
Crunchos. Like, they taste the same, but you going to go with everyone else?
Crunchos.
Like,
You gonna mess with the Crunchos, dog. You know what I'm saying? Cheerios or Circles. You know what I'm saying? But you know, your mom in the store back when you were younger, she probably got the Crunchos.
yeah.
You ate.
I ain't gonna tell the kids at school they gonna clown my ass, but you best believe when we bunch on that joint anytime I get.
No, I'm saying. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for your money, dog. But sometimes the shoe feels like that. Sometimes when you're looking at the shoes. Not saying that the shoes are, it's just the feeling you get when comparing. Like, it's like, all right, this is the Concord. This is Kawhi Leonard's first shoe. You're gonna fucking buy the Concords, you know?
Yeah. So I don't really have that much to say about it. I just want to congratulate him because I know like the biggest thing with NCAA is like these players aren't getting paid. So it's good that he has some form of financial security. Let's say something happens and he gets like injured down the road. So that's cool. But it makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He's a young kid. Apparently he said his favorite player that he idolized growing up was Michael Jordan. I feel like when you get Michael Jordan in a room of that nature, of that status, you can't say no to that. So it was kind of like when PG, you know, was about to be a free agent, and Russ was like, "Yo, don't leave me, dog. Like, come on." Once he's in the room, he's like, "Yo, I feel bad. Like, let me run it back with my boy." So I mean, it's good for Jordan Brand. Like I said, they lost Kawhi Leonard. Russ is getting older, so for 7 years, man, if he goes to that level that we think he's going to go to, then they're in good hands, and hopefully he gets an actual signature sneaker from there as well too. I don't really know what it looked like or what. I don't understand because like Russell Westbrook, he has a personality with it. Carmelo had like some swagger with it. So Zion Wilson's game isn't defined yet, so we'll see what happens. So I think he's gonna maybe by a second, third year, maybe potentially get his signature shoe. Do you have anything to add to him signing with the Jordan brand?
I just hope they look all right. I feel like Zion's a bulky person, so you have to like. I just hope they don't look bulky, but at the same time, they're not gonna really look aerodynamic as much because like LeBron's shoe. LeBron's shoes, for the most part, are a little bit more. They support a bigger person. Zion's the same build, so if anything, I don't know. The Jordan brand, as far as aesthetic, probably has the work cut out for him. Shout out to the young bull for getting his money, signing with Jordan right off the back. It's gonna be pretty good. We'll see how it goes. How's everybody that signed with Puma and Jay-Z them? Are they doing all right now? How is DeAndre Ayton? How is who else signed with Puma?
Danny Green, DeMarcus Cousins, and I think that's it.
We haven't seen Puma in a while, dog.
Yeah, I'll still rock Puma though.
I would too.
Y'all throw me that deal, I'll rock y'all. Yeah. Adidas anyway. I got Adidas sweatpants on right now.
What's up, Puma? What's up, Adidas?
Adidas workout cup. Take a look at that. Yeah. So I mean, I won't really much to say about that. You know, just salute to Zion securing that bag and going to do some great things. Another short thing I want to touch on is Tim Duncan, the GOAT, one of my GOATs, San Antonio Spurs, number 21, Mr. Fundamental. He is going to be joining the coaching staff and be an assistant coach under Coach Popovich, which is pretty cool to see. And Coach Pop, I'm going to really paraphrase this, but he always has his little 2 cents he like to add and be very sarcastic or whatnot, just like joke around with people. He's basically saying, he's like, I served 19 years. I served my loyalty to you for 19 years, so it's only right that you return the favor. So I kind of always knew that he was going to go into coaching. For one, you saw like Ime Udoka, and then there was another player and another player. I think I can't remember their names, but they went straight into coaching as well too. So it was only right that Tim Duncan was eventually going to do that, and I feel like he will, based on experience, his championship pedigree, and learning from the best, like a Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was under Coach Pop and under what's his name, Coach Pop. Phil Jackson. Steve Kerr was under Phil Jackson and Coach Pop, and he played as well too. So he had 3 different outlooks on how to coach the brand of basketball. And I feel like if anyone were to, essentially, take that throne in the near future, and Coach Pop is done, I can see Tim Duncan doing that. So props to him, and also San Antonio. I love you guys. Obviously, my favorite team. just kind of boring over there. So I felt like he got a little bored, you know what I'm saying, sitting
Yeah.
around the house all the time. So I think he wanted to just be active and be relevant. And, you know, when you've been doing something, one thing that you love for the rest of your life, it's kind of hard to stay away from it for X amount of time. So
Fact, dog.
props to him. Anything you want to say at all?
Actually, nah. I just hope that her name is Rebecca, correct? Rebecca.
Becky Hammond.
Becky Hammond.
Shout out to Becky Hammond.
I'm hoping she gets the
Love you.
head coaching job whenever.
I think she'll do a great job. I mean, she won a chip summer league.
Yeah, I
with
hope
them.
she gets the head coaching job immediately. You know, but the way of the world, we'll see what happens. I hope she gets the job
Yeah. Another topic
in the NBA.
Yeah. Another topic I want to talk about is the Lakers signed Giannis' younger brother. What's his name?
His name is Kostas.
Kostas Antetokounmpo. So he has two brothers.
Yes.
So one is with him on the Bucks right now.
Really?
I don't know if this is the same one because I know one of them got signed to the Bucks. Anyways, let's talk about him for the time being right now. How tall is he? Like, do we have any stats or anything like that? What type of player is he?
Stats. So his official height, he has to be a smooth 6'10" too, but he's more of a traditional forward, energy forward guy. He's gonna get his blocks.
He's not like a point forward type of
I
player?
haven't seen him with out of all his highlights.
He runs just like his brother.
He runs just like him, but
He shoot just like his brother.
more of a Clint Capella feel than anything. High energy.
We just saw that Trey. I don't know about that Trey.
I mean, just as far as like high energy, he's gonna be the dump off man. Like he's gonna like attack the rim. He's gonna put back anything. He's gonna be flying around with it. He's gonna put some weight on and hopefully excel his career a little bit more. He'll have time with the Lakers if they make him like a project because he could be really disgusting. He's not a Giannis at all. He's not a point guard, but he is somebody that could get you 10 and 10 easily.
Yeah, dribbles when he has to. It looks like he has some pretty good post moves. Like you said, high energy guy, sets you good screens, plays great defense, can switch on multiple positions. Looks like he has a pretty solid set jump shot that can be a work in progress. Yeah. But like you said, this is just a little experiment. So great find by him. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, he probably works out with his brother in the offseason at other people. So I think, you know, he may not really play this year unless there's a plague of injuries. But I feel like if the Lakers have a good development team,
it'd be great.
I think he could be, he can, have a spot in the league for a long time. But a lot of people are saying like, Giannis might be a free agent in 2021 or 2022. They're saying, is this a way to lure his brother over to LA? So we don't know. And I was about to ask you that.
That's interesting
because he's only. I mean, obviously Giannis visits other places like any other NBA player who isn't. So basically, like when you're done with the offseason, you get to be wherever you want to be. So if you in Milwaukee, you probably chill in LA. You in New York.
John Wall told me that everybody goes to the West Coast. Yeah. Rico Hines basketball, UCLA, like the Drew League, like Cali. Drew League's not in LA; it's in Oakland, I think. But John Wall's like, yo, everybody goes to LA. Like, there's no reason to be anywhere else but LA in the summertime.
So maybe, he can live there for a little bit and, kind of have that effect on his brother. So we'll see. I really doubt it, but, man, it's the NBA, so anything can happen. If you would have told me the year that the Pelicans swept Portland in the playoffs that Anthony Davis would be playing with LeBron James, I would have been like, what are you talking about? Dog. If you had told me LeBron would have been on the Lakers, I would have been like, what are you talking about? So anything can happen. So salute to him. He looks like, if he has that mindset, he can get better. So, it's never over.
We'll see.
And we'll see what happens with that. Next thing I want to talk about is James Harden's comments on CP3. So James Harden finally came out to the general public. Before I even talk about that, it was kind of funny to see. I think he was in the store. I don't know where he was at, but some girl, you saw that joint?
Yeah.
Well, some girl had him on her social media, and she was basically saying, you like you're my favorite player.
Cap.
He said, that's Cap. And she's like, what? He said, no, I'm just messing with you. So pretty cool for her.
Huh? Because he has a soul.
He has a soul. He's human, guys. But what I wanted to say with that was, he got interviewed. Obviously, he talked about how excited he is to play with Russell Westbrook, and it just comes down to sacrifice. I already talked about that last episode and whatnot. But Main thing I want to talk about is, how he was basically saying how the media portrayed um, you know, a negative,
Just
what's
view of
that word?
him.
A negative view, yeah, a
Yeah.
negative view on his relationship between Chris Paul and himself. So, essentially, there's some things that to paraphrase it. He's saying we're competitors. And obviously, when you're teammates, you're going to argue, you're going to clash about certain things. But what they argued about solely had to do with basketball, and it really didn't affect their relationship. So what the media basically is feeding us is garbage, and he said they're on good terms as well too. Do you think he's being truthful with that? I think James Harden strikes me as the one who's very blunt and upfront.
Facts.
So I believe him too, and that's just how it is. Even if for example, if you have a roommate, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
you guys can be best friends, but every now and then, you're gonna get tired of someone not washing the dishes or taking the trash out,
That's a
or the
fact.
music may be too loud. But at the end of the day, like that's your boy, you love them.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys just grow from each other, and you guys need to be on your own. I feel like that's the case there, well too. So no love lost. I think it was purely a basketball decision for them to part ways. What are your thoughts on that?
Definitely basketball stuff. And they had a chance to get Russell Westbrook and switch it up a little bit. So I mean, they said take a chance. We've been getting the same results. Let's see if we can get some different results. I mean, we've seen the whole thing where like they were arguing on the bench and like slapping each other's hand or whatever like that, and kind of being like done with each other. But it's basketball. If you're a competitor, if you're a basketball player, if you play any kind of sports, if you did anything competitive where you want to win, and somebody on your team has just the same fire, and you disagree about a method of going about something, it'll happen to you too. So it'll be that kind of scenario. I don't think James Harden and Chris Paul would have played together for 3 years, and it had held up, and they don't like each other or some shit like that. They play very well with each other. You have to have some chemistry. You have to have a relationship at least of non-hate with somebody to play with them. I mean, Shaq and Kobe hated each other, but they're not Shaq and Kobe. They had each other for a little bit, and I mean, they still respect each other. And I think this is way to a lower degree than any of that is. So, media be cap. That's what it's cap. That's cap.
Yeah. Another topic I want to talk about next is Bradley Beal and the Wizards. So
56.
So Tommy so the Wizards chose Tommy Shepard as their new general manager coach, and the first thing he said was that his goal is to retain Bradley Beal, so to offer him the max extension. And I think you were telling me before we started recording this that they can offer him. Basically, I think they have until October. They can offer him 194 and an extension of 100 over the next 4 years, $194 million.
Yes.
I think that would begin in 2021-2022 season if we were to sign a dotted line between now and October. Simple question for you, since you're a Wizards fan or you support the Wizards. I guess from a fan standpoint and being realistic, I guess I'm kind of being a little biased with this answer. Do you think? Obviously, they changed the GM, so whenever you have a change from the top down, that's always a positive sign. And Bradley Beal, the way he's been speaking, and he can be politically correct as well too. He seems like his heart and soul is there, and it seems like he's the type of guy. He's saying, "I'm great. Whoever you put with me, those are my boys. I'm gonna ride and die with them." Do you think he should take that max extension, or do you think he should eventually play out his contract, demand a trade? What do you think he should do? And yeah, just give me your 2 cents.
I should think you should hot tell it out of there.
As a Wizards fan,
Yes. I think Rui, their draft pick from where did Rui play at?
Auburn.
No, he's not from Auburn. A little bit.
We know you're talking about, Japanese dude.
Yeah. I think he was great, but I've seen it way too many times. If I'm Bradley Beal, there is a market. DC is a dope market as far as
I love DC.
East Coast goes, but
it's just their management.
Yeah, management's not working. I wouldn't go to the Knicks. I would go with somebody with like competent management and where you can flourish. We can like Toronto has an opening. Like go somewhere where they're ready to try to win with you. Don't entertain the same teams because you know where you're still at. You're still bottom middle pack of the East right now. You still KD's coming back. He's going to be in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
You have Toronto, who's still a really good team. You have Milwaukee. You have Philly. You have Miami, who's now emerged as a team. You have Boston Celtics. Where do you see yourself in any of that? Go have fun. Go get your win. Go get deep into the conference tournament. Go get to the finals. Go try to win a championship. I'm not saying you sacrifice some money and go to the Lakers per se, but it's time to get out of the Wizards, dog. They're not, other than pay you, they're not going to do anything else for you, for your legacy. You'll be one of the good players that played for a team and just got his money and got out of the league. So
Yeah.
it depends what you want to do.
Yeah. And his name is Rui Hachimura, and he is Japanese as well, too, and he went to Gonzaga.
I knew it.
That's a diamond in the rough right there. Obviously, he was a lottery pick, right? Yeah.
And does that tell you that they don't want to keep John Wall with those comments?
I mean, he's under contract regardless.
Yeah.
He already got his money, so they're gonna have to keep that because they're not gonna be able to move him unless he comes back healthy and improves his worth. Then they can trade him. Yeah. So there's two things I'll do. I'll either be Bradley Beal and take that AD route, superstar route, demand a trade, or I'm probably with him since I only have 2 more years left on my deal. Yeah. I'll probably just play it out, see what I can do with the new change of scenery. When I say that, with the new GM, see what I can do with that draft pick. Yeah. And, obviously by the time his contract won't be over yet when John Wall comes back. So if John Wall is up to par and Bradley Beal is Bradley Beal and that draft pick, Rui lives up to the hype, I mean, you could, just stay there and see what happens because, like I said, it's the era of dynamic duo. So we'll see what happens. But if I'm Bradley Beal, to make a long story short, I'm not going to demand a trade. I'm just going to play out my contract and then go wherever I want to go. So that's about it. Yeah.
I hope he gets out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Dog.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch.
Yeah, it sucks in Washington. I'll be going to a couple games this year because tickets gonna be cheap though.
It's a bad family situation.
Be supporting the other team though.
You relax.
I'm a sicko though.
You're sicko though.
All right, so moving on. I think this is my last topic of the day.
Wow.
Where we at with it? Oh yeah, so Team USA. Basically, a lot of players have been dropping out, which is crazy. So there have been reports that the elite players are dropping out. So players like Damian Lillard, DeMar DeRozan, Kevin Love, latest have dropped out. I think other players that declined, James Harden, Anthony Davis, Bradley Beal, Tobias Harris, CJ McCollum have all dropped out of playing for Team USA this year, which is crazy because after we lost to, I think, Argentina back in the day, I think that's when they changed everything and they brought in, what's his name, Coach K. Yeah. And ever since then, we've been, winning every single chance we get. So it kind of sucks because that's one of the things I actually look forward to whenever we get a chance to see our players, the elite players represent the country. So it's going to be kind of a little to see these non-star players play. I mean, you still have players on the roster like
Donovan Mitchell staying, I think.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell, Chris Middleton,
Jaylen
Kemba, Kuzma, Andre Drummond, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. So we still have, I'd say, tier 2, tier 3 type of talent.
Kuz staying around.
Yeah, Kuz staying there. So we still have a good amount of players that are elite players that are going to be playing, but just not that upper echelon players. So it makes sense because there's been so much change this off season, and like I said, it's the dynamic duo era. Players are going to, moving across the country, so it makes sense that they would want to take this time to get settled into their new, area code. It makes sense that they want to spend as much time to build that cohesiveness and that chemistry with their team as well too. So it makes sense, but I mean, you can't really fault them. It's not like it's a duty to go play for your country. It's not like it's a draft or something like that. So I feel like we've been so accustomed to winning that there's no doubt in my mind that we won't win again. And it just, Coach Pop is, the leader of this new era with Team USA. So he's one of the most respected coaches. So I feel like if you give him anything, he will make magic happen. Like look what the Spurs have done post Kawhi era, post Tim Duncan era, regardless as well too. So I think they're fine.
Post everybody.
Post everybody, he finds a way to make it work. So we mentioned all these players here. A lot of them seem like they're two-way players as well too. So I think we should do well. We may have a little struggle with Spain and Argentina and whatnot, but I think overall we're in good hands. And I don't know if it's because we're from the United States. I'm just kind of biased. We're just at this time at this day and age we're just better than everybody. Anything you want to add to that?
No.
No.
No. The World Cup's going to be in China this year.
China.
August. Yeah, it's not World Cup, but the basketball World Cup.
Yeah.
August 31st to September 15th in China. 8 cities will host games. Beijing, and then a whole list of names, including Shanghai and some other names that I'm not going to try to pronounce because no. But yeah,
I don't know what the time zone is over there, but
they'll be showing it like it's literally probably straight under
look
us.
that up. Yeah. Is it China?
Time in Beijing, I guess.
So right now it's 10:34 a.m. I mean, we may be able to catch those games around like 7, because they might
they're probably playing like day games like 12 because they have to do like the qualifying games.
Damn, so it's a 12-hour difference.
Yeah.
So they probably play at 7 p.m. at night. We watch at 7 in the morning here. Yeah. So I got to stream that joint from work on my phone.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, all right. It'll probably make it more fun because we know like. We love to see players like LeBron, CP3 play. Like
it's
all
so
them.
fun, man.
But at the same time, like, this will be like some actual serious maybe competition for our USA teams, and it'll make it international competition a little bit competitive. So it'll be like something we can root for because it's not the best players. These are some of the best players on the planet.
Players who want to prove themselves.
Yeah, they're not LeBron, James, Kawhi, all that stuff like that. So it's going to be fun.
And what I liked always, I don't know if you noticed, what I liked about Team USA, like just watching them whenever they were in competition was if you played in Team USA, you were guaranteed to, after that whole stint was over, to take your game to a next level. So I'm excited to see these players we mentioned, like a Jaylen Brown, like a Jason Tatum, a Tobias Harris, all go up against elite players, get that workout and learn some new things, add some tricks to their game as well too. So we'll see what's good with that. But that's a wrap. Episode 57. Any last closing words or anything you want to say?
Protect your energy, man. Work hard for what you want and go out there and get it. Remember, hard times don't last. Hard and tough people do. But yeah, protect your energy, man. Make sure you are who you want to be and going where you want to go.